I mean, obviously, Shauna, 2 girls out with injury, but what does that mean for you guys this season, and how do you kind of piece together a short bench moving forward?
Yeah, we've dealt with it, in and out this year, right? And so we really haven't had if you think about it, we haven't had our entire team together this entire year. So where it's not ideal and it's unfortunate and it's disappointing and all those things, you want your team healthy, you want your players healthy. It's hard for them to have to deal with this. It's hard for us to have to deal with it, but it is what it is, and it's part of sports. The unfortunate part of it is injuries happen, and so our guys that are able to play, we're together, they're connected, nothing's changed. We're not, it's not like we're still planning on competing and winning games, and standards, expectation, goals, everything stays the same. We just got to continue to take one day at a time, prepare at an elite level, and then go out there and play as hard, as smart, as together as we possibly can.
I think both would qualify. Do you guys plan on pursuing a medical red shirt for either Gretchen or Makira?
That's something that we'll continue to talk through. I mean, all these things, they take so much time, decisions, and them working through, trying to come back. It's been a long process for them. So we'll talk through all of them. Obviously, Makira's a senior, where Gretchen, has 2 years left. So Gretchen definitely pursue a red shirt, and then we just, we'll talk through everything with Makira.
Just with Makira, the person really well, just this process that she's gone through this year, just how tough has it been for her and for you as well?
Yeah, it's hard, right? I'd be lying to you guys to sit here and say it's not hard. You feel for the kid. They've done so much, both of them. They're competitors. They wanna play and help your team, and just it's always just a hard thing to navigate. So you feel for them. You just want to be there to support them, and to help them get through this. And then I got to be there for our team that is still playing, and continue to instill in them the belief and the confidence, and give them the right tools for us to go out there and have success.
With Jazz, introducing her to the point guard role, not maybe knowing that this was going to be a role for her, but how maybe beneficial has that been to her to have that experience already, at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, because, there's a few games, early in the season where Makira didn't play, or she was on limited minutes, and, so we really had to put Jazz over in that position. And actually, I think I told you guys we had bumped Gretchen over there for a little bit, but then Gretchen hurt herself. So now it's Jazz, and she's been there the whole year. So I think that was something that's ended up helping us. Every game she looks more comfortable playing that, to help Jen out. And then obviously using Corey, in spot minutes there. So you got to do what you got to do at this point. It's not like we have, 20 people on the bench that you can put in there. So you gotta figure it out, and just really proud of Jazz for stepping up and be willing to do whatever she needs to do to help this team. And her commitment to get better, and learning, watching film in the gym. It's just been really awesome to see her growth and the maturity of how she's approaching this situation.
I think Kendall played 40 up in Minnesota. I know that's not probably how you wanted to do it through the year, but is that sustainable for her with how she's training and what you're doing outside of games?
Any other 5 player in the country, I'd say that's not sustainable, but it's Kendall Bostic, and I think she's played 40 minutes since I've been here. I don't like to have her off the floor, whether I have the pieces or not. She's too valuable to our team. But I do, I know as Haven continues to make progress and in practice. I mean, it's hard. Being a freshman post player is hard. But I'm really liking her progression, and I gotta figure out when I could even get Haven in maybe a minute here or there to even spot Kendall or move Kendall to the 4 and get Bryn a break. So I got to continue to figure that out. But for me, it's just hard to take KB out, because even when she makes a mistake, I trust her so much because of the experience.
We hit this with you before Minnesota, but offensively and just through the course of a game, what you call, how has it changed without Makira and now without Gretchen? Because we talked to you about hitting the easy button and just saying, hey, we need a bucket here. Let's run a ball screen from Makira and get her downhill. That doesn't exist anymore.
No, you're right, and that's part of the challenge of what we do as coaches, because we did a lot with the Makira where low shot clock even. We just went follow, which is a high ball screen, and let Makira make a play. Where we can do that with Jen, they're different players. We're all different. Every player out there is different. So that's where the last 2 days we've really honed in on just the execution of what we want out of certain plays and what we're looking for and all the options, because whether that's low shot clock, whether that's the fourth quarter, we have to clean it up, and that's whether Makira's on the floor, Gretchen's on the floor. Yes, some of the play calls changed, but I loved our play calls against Minnesota in the fourth. We didn't execute. And so that's on me. I gotta figure out how to put them in a position to execute. We had that game and we just made too many mistakes. So that's really, we've kind of gone back to really cleaning everything up, the details. We have to be sharp in those moments, because maybe you don't have just a high ball screen, Makira, go make a play for us. We gotta be able to execute at an elite level. So that's on me, and that's what, again, the last 2 days we've been really working on, and really I've seen an improvement. Now it's about applying and putting that into the game tomorrow.
So just one more about Gretchen. Did she have a setback against Oregon, or can you kind of walk us through maybe the process of being available for that and then getting to this point?
It's been, she's dealt with some just knee stuff kind of really her whole career. And then she tweaked it and hurt it in Oregon State. And that's why she didn't play, that next game. I think we held her out. Kentucky, she played, but was not, it was hard for her to even plant and go into a jump shot. And then I think she was out the next how many games until leading into Oregon. We wanted to try to give it a go because she had some time. And, for the outsider and for all of us, you're like, well, she, dropped 13 points, and she was huge, but was playing, it wasn't healthy. And, she went through that decision with her family and all of us. And, you got to do the best thing for these kids and their health. That's the number one thing. We want to win basketball games, but their health is the most important. And where it sucks and no one likes it, for us, the health is always going to be the number one thing for our student athletes. And I'll figure everything else out. I just want them to be okay, and hopefully she recovers and comes back, and she's going to have an unbelievable career here. I mean, she's an elite player, she's an elite worker, and it would have killed her too if she wasn't. She's the type of player that she doesn't know 50%. She doesn't know, okay, I'm not going to be able to practice, but I'm going to go and try to play a game. That's not fair for her either. So whether, it's a hard decision, but the best decision.
And this might be a dumb question, but Erica's here, Sierra's on the way. I assume the answer is no, because it's kind of a tough position, but just given the nature of where you guys are at, have you considered or broached the conversation of maybe?
I've considered everything at this point. I've thought through everything. But, you also then, Erica's been here for a few days, and even I sometimes forget every little thing that goes into where we're at right now in the season. I mean, it is so much defensively, offensively, everything, where we'll continue to look at that. But I mean, as CC, there's just no way, because she's not even here yet. It'd be not worth wasting a year. Erica, you still kind of see, but you're kind of pushing that time where is it worth burning a year or not? But yeah, definitely I've looked and thought about every single possibility.
Well, in years past, before you got here, players were added semester from other sports just for an extra body, not necessarily to see floor minutes during games, but just other people to be on the floor in practice.
Well, I think that's what really helps with Erica here and CC coming.
They can practice?
They can practice.
Okay.
So they can do everything. And that's even been a huge help with Erica the last few days, because we're so low on guards. And then CC, it's going to be great because she can play multiple positions. So, and that was even what was great about getting Irene back, just even she hasn't played a lot, but in practice even, just getting, another healthy body out there. And then we got our practice guys coming back once school starts, so that'll help us a lot too.
Yeah. Non-injury news, Iowa, how have they kind of evolved from having this megastar in Caitlin to now this version of it?
Thank you for asking me something about basketball. Iowa's still Iowa, and the thing that when you really break them down, the confidence they've all had from winning and winning at a high level the last 2 years. They just insert new people in there. They have a good core of freshmen, and they have a good core of returners that just know how to play the game the right way, and they have an extreme amount of confidence. They believe they're going to win every time out there. So yes, you take Caitlin Clark out. Now they're wanting to go and play inside out a little bit more, where last year it was more outside in. So they want that ball inside to Stolke, O'Grady. They got a freshman that's a nice post player. And then they got Lucy Olson, who obviously is not too shabby of a player either, the second leading scorer in the country last year. So they have her out there, obviously way different than Caitlin Clark, but really capable of taking a game over. So they're just a really solid, confident program that plays basketball really, really hard, and they play it really, really together.
Do you see fingerprints of Jan on that in a way that's different than how Lisa was running it?
I
on
think,
the floor, at least.
Yeah, I think just the whole, I want to get the ball inside and then we'll play inside out. Jan's obviously one of the best post coaches, at least in my mind, in the women's game. She's done an unbelievable job. Those post players are just, they've all been elite footwork, elite finishers. So yeah, you can kind of see that a little bit more, where Lisa was like, they're still going to shoot a lot of threes, but it was definitely more, let's shoot that three and then we'll figure out with Stolke and their big guys inside, which obviously they've always had that presence even when Lisa was a coach. So you see kind of her fingerprints on it, but then you see obviously what Lisa's created there in that program.
It's a different team, but Lucy, obviously you guarded last year in the WNBA championship game. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you take anything away from that? What you were able to do against her in that game?
I do think that I think Dell especially can take confidence away that she guarded her, 40 minutes last year and did a really good job, especially in that second half. I think she learned a lot from that game. So we're using that now. Obviously, it's a different system, but it's still, she's the same player. She can score at all three levels. She's their kind of head the snake. Everything runs, through her, and when they need a bucket, they're going to go to her. Or they're going to go inside. So we want to take that confidence we had from doing a really good job on her last year into tomorrow night. With obviously Dal will start on her, and then we'll have Jazz guarders at times as well.
Corey, how's her development, and how big can she be for the remainder of this season?
Yeah, this is a positive, right? When you're looking at some of these injuries and some of the tough, situations we've had to deal with, is, other guys get opportunity, and what are they going to do with them? So it has to kind of expedite their growth and their learning curve. When you talk about a Corey, when you talk about a Jazz, when you talk about a Barry, they're now having to do and play a lot more. So you got to look at that as a great opportunity for them and their growth, and they're going to be able to play through more mistakes. They're going to get a ton more minutes and experience. So I think Corey, I'm really happy with her. Even in the last 3 weeks, probably right before Christmas, I thought she's just been, she's been practicing at a different level. She's been coming into games. I thought the first half against Minnesota, her defense was great. Now she has to be able to sustain that. So just continuing to pour into her and work with her, continue to keep her confidence. But we're going to need her. We're going to need her defensively. We're going to need her offensively. She can play 1 through 4. She knows all the positions. That's a credit to her. But this is a time and an opportunity for her to really step up.
Because I think I know the answer, because I know how you feel about Makira, but last year we heard her talk about just isolationism and her mental health during the concussion. Do you still have to be worried of that as she's still going through this last semester and as she finishes here at Illinois? I'm
going to worry about all these players and their physical, their mental, their emotional well-being 24/7. You care about these kids. You're always worried about them, and even when they leave here, you worry about them, and because you love them and you care about them. So the great thing is that Makira and all of our kids, Gretchen too, as you're dealing with something hard. We have great support here. Obviously with Dr. Cook. In terms of the mind, and then Autumn and all of our doctors and our staff in terms of the physical piece, and then all of us coaches and our teammates in terms of just being there and supporting and loving, them in a tough time for them. So we'll all be here for them. We're going to support them as best as we can from every single area, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever way they need to be supported. We're going to wrap our arms around them, and we're going to be here for them.